Welcome to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast, featuring in-depth interviews with people in hip-hop culture, based out of New England. Leeds. How are you?
Pretty good. Running around as usual. How you doing?
You said good. You sound a little hoarse in the mic. You've been screaming in the mic all week. Voice?
Pretty
You've been
much,
screaming in the
yeah.
mic?
Yeah, we were celebrating Real P's birthday last night, so
Oh, how was that?
it was awesome. But we're very much still recovering, all of us. So
I bet. Yeah, I
yeah,
bet. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast. Like us on YouTube, see us on Spotify, follow us on Apple Podcasts, smash that like button, whatever you got to do, please, that helps us out. We got a very special guest today, Dutch Rebelle, rapper, model, hustler,
yeah.
in no particular order.
No particular order at all.
Well, welcome.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So you've been busy.
I have been busy. Definitely been
Right.
busy. Been running around a lot. Just stacking visuals and, having fun with the music again. At the same time, been really about my bag, been on my grind, getting to the next level of things. So yeah,
Yes.
enjoying things.
So, it sounds like not much has changed because that's the Dutch I've known.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the Dutch I know is doing
Exactly.
all those things.
Exactly.
I would say I think I've known you for like almost over a decade now.
Yes,
Since you
I know.
since since
Amazing.
you emerged on the scene.
Yeah, with your help. Shoot, what you mean, man?
I played a role. There was many others. I would definitely want to get into that, but I want to go back. I always go back. You are born in Haiti.
Yes.
What's
Yeah.
that like?
Haiti born. I left when I was a baby. I was real young. I was like 9 months when I came. But I got to go back this year for the first time in like 10, 12 years. My parents moved back there, so it's pretty dope. It's a great place. It's just like, I mean, I feel like most islands, it seems scary and it seems real like, oh, what's gonna happen? But it's like if you go with the right people, then you see amazing things. I tell people, like, if they only showed you Detroit and like downtown LA, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't come to the US. You know what I mean? But it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. I'm trying to go back in December if I can.
What were some of the things that were like great about it and that you enjoyed while you were there? Because I saw all your videos and they're pretty amazing. So I'm
Yeah.
curious what more detail. Because I'm
Um,
fascinated.
it's kind of wild that like how much we take for granted, I want to say. I know that sounds super cliche, but like
Not
when
really.
you just have to wake up, yeah, like when you just wake up and like, you know, for example, you're not paying rent, you own your land. You're not paying like excise tax and all these other things. So, you just wake up and it's pretty much what are we gonna eat today? Who are we gonna see today? And then I hope we can do it again tomorrow. That's really like the environment. So just the fact that there's so many people there look like me who are just kind of doing their own thing. Like it's almost like being in New York without the pressure of having money. You know what I mean? Everyone's just kind of doing
Right.
their craft. Everyone's doing their hustle. It's very like family based in a sense because there's a lot of things that just aren't important there. Everybody's just kind of trying to survive. So for example, like I'm standing in line in the airport and some like random like ladies like, can you hold this for me? Like, yeah. And she's like, okay, I gotta go get some water. And she just like runs off. And then I'm like, you have, and I see that she has like a big bag on her back. And I'm like, you can leave the bag too. Like, and she's just like, oh, thank you so much, darling. And she like calls me niece and then like she's out. But it's just like, here right away, your first thought is like, bomb threat. What is she doing? Like, what is this? You can't be washing people's bags. Like, it could be anthrax. It could be like, you know what I mean? But like back
It's
there,
funny you say that because it's the first thing I thought too. You know what I mean?
you're
Like,
smart.
it's a
It's like,
bomb or
oh,
she's trying to seal something.
exactly. But it's like back there, it's just like, you just look and you're like, it's hot in here. It's clearly hot. She can't leave her line. She's by herself. She's going to get some water. Like, it's simple as that. And, just the fact for me, what took me back was the fact that she was comfortable to ask. Not that I would do it, because if you know me, I'm probably going to do it. But like, it's like, yeah, what's the big deal? Like, you can't do it. What's the problem? You know what I mean? And it just makes you just kind of just remember, like, there's so much stuff that's not important. And the things that
Yeah.
are important are simple things,
Right.
laughing out loud. Like we say, like, if it starts raining, you're just in for the day. And that's just what it is. And it's not even like weird. It's just like nothing got messed up. There's nowhere you have to be. You got to get to here. You got to get it's just like people are the difference between surviving and living. People are living there. They're just living. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I felt that way when I went to Portugal. Like I went to Portugal and it was just like a much more easier way of living. Everybody's house looked the same. It
Yep.
was chill. They took siestas in the middle of the day.
I
It was
love Portugal.
like
I actually love I've been to Portugal. I love it.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
all day, just beach life all day long.
your dad's Dominican though.
My dad's half Dominican.
Oh, okay. Was he
He
was he in the Dominican Republic or was he living in Haiti?
was always in Haiti. So my grandfather was the only
Ah,
one that was like in Haiti. He came to Haiti, met my grandma, then had all the kids. So
right.
I've actually never been to DR, sadly. I've never
Yeah,
been. But all my uncles and aunts look way more Dominican than anything else. So
yeah. Because it's the Dominican Haiti same island thing, and there's
yeah,
big
exactly.
difference between two big difference between the two.
Yeah. Like I tell people, I'm like, I'm Hispaniolan. I'm like, because honestly, it's like Hispaniola is really the country. And some people say Hispanic and Latino, and it gets all that's why
Yeah.
labels tricky. But yeah, but I'm Haitian and Dominican. So
Was your family like really like messed up by the earthquake when that hit back in 2010?
we had family that were affected. Like a lot of my family are here, and then the rest that are not here, they're not in the capital. So
Okay.
I had like I did have a few family members that passed, you know what I mean, a little bit more like extended family, further distance cousins, but it affected everything because everything slows down. Like we have our school in Haiti that we have our nonprofit for that we raise funds here. It's called Correcto. We do
Nice.
events here, we give the money back to the school. But once that happened, you know, for example, the government was supposed to be responsible for like a third of the expenses. After that, they were just like, never mind. And there's no, and you can't really like what appeal it, like with who, like, you know, so
Yeah.
it's not really, so it affected more like financially resources were limited. I would say more that resources are limited. So if people that I know passed, it was because they were like sick and couldn't get meds, or
Yeah.
they couldn't travel into where they needed to go, or like, you know, gasoline prices ridiculous, so people just can't get places and can't do things. So
Right.
generators, things like that, like people run generators for electricity and stuff. So if gas and petrol and all that is skyrocketed, it's crazy. But at the same time, just like every hustler, like last time I went though, they have people with like old milk cartons, like selling gas like on the side of the road. Like I got like 2 gallons of gas. That's all the person has, like 3 gallons of gas. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's awesome.
people keep going, but it just changes the climate. It really changes the climate a lot. But people are always dealing with Haiti's always dealing with something. So
Yeah, because it's on a fault line, and that earthquake was like a 7.0.
yeah,
So I don't
and
know if anybody knows what a 7.0 is. That is like a serious freaking
the big
earthquake.
one. It's the big one. Like, and there was like a
Yeah.
small one right after, if I'm not mistaken.
There's two, right? Two big
Yeah,
ones within a couple of years.
yeah, and we've gotten hit with like hurricanes and stuff too. So it's like there's the
Rough.
earthquake and then there's hurricanes. Like people, we still have those. So there's still tents in Port-au-Prince. Like there's still tents in the capital and stuff, like people in tents and
Yeah.
things like that. But as my dad says, but sometimes, you know, those people, that was their first house. So it worked out. You know what I mean? Like even a tent. Like so
I like the
yeah,
way you flip that. I like the way you flip
people
that.
that like that. You know, my dad says, like, you know, you can't be sad about hurricanes. That means there's no mosquitoes. So
It's always a plus side.
yeah, exactly. That's not
So it's a flip side to everything. I like
everything,
that. Way to
everything.
play it. Way to play
Yeah.
it. Do you into the Haitian music at all? I was trying to do a little research on it. What is it? Kumpa? Is that the big one?
Compa.
Was it?
Compa.
Oh, I pronounced it wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, compa. Close, but you spell, but I know you know how to spell it, so that's what matters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
compa. Compa music is definitely like our music. I think like the historical music is like merengue, but realistically,
Yeah,
it's a blend. It's a lot of guitar, you know, like acoustic stuff like that, drums, simple
right.
drums. But Haitian music is huge in my family. I mean, music is huge in my family because of Haitian music, because of the Dominican music, because of like
Right.
what Zouk is like Antilles, West Indies music, Cape Verdean music. Like it's not the same Creole, but it's similar music. So Zouk, Kaisha, things like that. I grew up dancing to that stuff, like performing for the nonprofits and stuff like that. So and you know my mom. So yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah.
we grew up
I
with
see
a
where
lot
you
of
get. I see where you get your personality from.
yeah, I'm like a third of that fire, trust me. So
You mentioned you incorporate Zominican into your
yeah.
music. What is Zominican? I couldn't figure that one out.
So Haitian people, some Haitian people describe themselves as Zo, like I'm a Zo, right?
Oh, okay.
Zo means bone, is what it actually means. So you know, in our culture, we say like you can be Haitian or you can be a Zo. And most Haitian people are just a little bit more traditional. They're just a little bit more like when you think of the Haitians in Miami, like Zo Pound, those are Zoes, a little bit more you know, rough around the edges, a little bit more, you know what I mean? But so as a Zo, and then as a Dominican, I'm a Dominican. So that's
Ah,
pretty much it. So I just say like, yeah, I roll with Dominicans because yeah, there's a lot of Haitian people who think that they're Dominican or they just assume they're Dominican or just kind of like claim it. You know, I'm sure every culture has a like, no, I'm not Italian, I'm whatever. And it's like, so for me, I didn't know that I was even Dominican, or I should say as much of the Dominican background as I was until I was in high school. I had no idea. I just was like, yeah, every Haitian wants to be Dominican. And then my dad was like, what are you talking about? Your grandfather's 100% Dominican. And I'm like, what? Because he always was in Haiti, as far as I know. So
right.
so that's kind of just like my little homage as well to just kind of knowing the difference. I always say like I roll with Dominican, so don't be dumb. Dutchy, that rum mixed with 151. Like, yeah, it's Brugal, it's Baboku, it's both. So yeah, Dominican things. Spicy food, laughs, dancing. That's the whole thing right there.
Yeah. Do you speak Creole?
I,
Oh wow.
I had to, yeah, like Creole was my first language. So and I
Oh
had to learn.
nice.
So I mean, I was a baby. I was, you know, a toddler, but growing up with your grandparents who speak Creole and then you just move from Haiti, like I definitely retained the language. And thankfully a lot of my friends were Haitian too. So, you know, when you're talking about people and stuff, you got another language to switch it into. We didn't do Pig Latin, you know what I mean? We did Creole. So
Oh,
but
I'm well versed in Pig
songs
Latin.
in Creole. I have songs in
I'm very well versed in that. I might do a rap in Pig Latin. I'll listen to
Let's
that.
do it. And then I'll do my verse in Creole.
Speaking of rapping, you started at 9.
I did.
Amazing.
I did. I was doing poetry, really, but the thing is, like, my cousins, a lot of my older cousins, boy cousins, this is like, you know, the Source magazine is like new. You know what I mean? Like that was like it. Double XL. I was like stealing my older cousins' magazines and stuff. So even though I was just like more writing poems and writing poetry, I was kind of the cousin that they could put in the room that was like way too young to know the songs word for word. So they were like, you know, go do it. And I just like rap whatever song I knew. Like I know Nori's album, like the NORE album. I remember like stealing
So
that from,
you were doing Super Thug for your family early?
you know, yeah. I mean, the song of choice was actually Ladies Night, the Bratz verse.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
People were
yeah.
just like, I can't believe you know it. And it was just like, I thought it was fire. You know what I mean? But
So
but
you
yeah,
were inspired by the Brat? Is that one of your early
oh,
influences?
absolutely. Any female artist that was like respected. Like I feel like there was a time where female rap girls were just like, you know, like
Yeah.
they started doing the look at me like I'm just fly thing, but like the MC Lights, the Queen Latifahs, like the Brats, like they were doing movies and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's one thing to do music, it's another thing to be equally respected and all at the same time. Like not like, oh, I do this and then 10 years from now I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like Queen Latifah was doing music and shows and managing and stuff like that. And my mom was big on that too, because any woman that could catch her attention or any rapper that could catch my dad's attention was kind of a big deal because it's English. So, you know, for them to hear it, they were just like, my dad loved Big Daddy Kane. And it was because he always said, like, I can understand what he's saying when he speaks. You know what I mean? So that things like that kind of is what caught my attention. Like, just like, wow, this person is able to go into so many different markets, so many different types of fans. And that's usually what would catch my attention. I like dancehall reggae though. I was a reggae head, like Caribbean music, like, you know what I mean? That was most of what I was listening to. But hip hop for me was like TV. You know what I mean? Like that was like my entertainment. Like I love to like Google who like, okay, Method Man, like what's his real name? Where did he go to school? Like how did he start rapping? Who did he know? How did this happen? Like that's what I was into. The internet. I had the internet, dial up.
Yeah. So you ended up from Haiti to Mattapan.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
what? Milton? When did, because it says Milton and Mattapan. What was the story there?
So I was only in Mattapan for like had like kindergarten, elementary, like what K1, K2 type of thing. And then I moved around the corner. So I lived on like the Milton Mattapan line, pretty much. So I moved from Haiti, Mattapan, and then started first grade in Milton. But because my parents were new parents and you know, new to this country, I spent a lot of time at other families' house. So even though I went to school in Milton, I got picked up from my uncles and spent, you know, most of the afternoon in Mattapan until I was like 14, 15, and I could stay like by myself or whatever. And my parents were like not for me staying in Milton. They thought that like they watched a lot of TV. So they were just like, seventh heaven, oh my God, like this is what happens in the world. And I'm like, it's not. But, so they thought I was safer in Mattapan than I was in Milton.
Really? That's amazing right there. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Crooked cops, things like that. They were scared of stuff like that.
That's awesome. You said they say that you were discovered you were discovered doing locks, like someone's hair, right? Locks, is that what you meant? Layla?
Yeah.
How did that happen? You got discovered doing someone's hair, rapping?
As you know, the hustler I am, one of my first hustles when I came back was I was doing people's hair. So
I knew that.
I met, so one of my cousins, her boyfriend at the time was like, you know, come do my hair. And I was like, all right, cool. So he picked me up, was like, hold on, I got to make a stop. So we go into this house, we go into this basement, and I'm like, this is a radio station. Like, this is like the whole radio. I think it was like Touch 106 or something like that. And I just kind of watched. I've never seen that before. I've never seen like a DJ, like, you know, running the board and like, you know, a host being there. And it was just them two in this basement. And the guy I was doing his hair, he was like, hey, she raps. And the T Whitlow, shout out to T Whitlow, she was like, she's, you know, on break, she was like, you rap? I was like, yeah. She was like, you ready? I'm like, I guess so. Like, you know what I mean? We'll see. And then they put me on the radio and I just started freestyling and I was going for like, I was just going, you know, this is like young, fresh Dutchie. So I'm just going off of whatever's in the room and I'm just going on. And a couple of people, shout out to Sarita, Bayhala, they actually were like in the chat and they were like, you should come to a show at Dublin House. That was my first show.
Nice.
I'm gonna come to Dublin House to come and do a show. And I'm like, all right. So I did Dublin House. From Dublin House, I got invited to Sammy's Patio. And then from Sammy's Patio, I got invited to Castillo's. Castillo's is a throwback. And then I was doing literally like 3 shows a week, every week for like maybe like a month or two. And then I booked House of Blues and I met Mark Maron. And he was doing Branded Authentic in the Foundation Room. And from there, at Sammy's Patio is actually where I met Famous Nobodies. And I met real people. They saw me performing and walked up and was like, yo, you were dope. We're never coming back here again, but this was dope. And
I was about to say, I was gonna go on a rant about Sammy's Patio.
Like, oh no, I mean, of course, you know, I learned the real way. Like
well, you did learn, you cut your teeth because you did Dublin House and Sammy's Patio first too. So those are two legendary dive bars.
And as you know, I tell people all the time, I'm like, that's one thing no one will ever take from me because it doesn't matter how many festivals or big shows I've done. You know, not everybody can rock Sammy's Patio.
No, or Dublin House.
Or Dublin House for sure. But like, yeah, you're right. Because Dublin House was definitely a little spicy. But I think that because people were like the drinks and stuff, it's a little, but Sammy's Patio, like they're walking on your set. Like, you done? Yeah. Like, are you done? Like they're on the stage with you. Like, what's up? Like, who is this? Is she done? Like, are you done? They never did it to me, but you know, that's like, you know, there's a lot of, as I say, if you could rock a room full of felons that are looking for their shot, you are right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
right.
I love that experience. But from there, I started booking colleges and shows and things like that. Is probably how I got on your radar.
I try to think how you even got it. I think you just got on one of my shows just because. I mean, I don't. You had such such hustle and presence in the city. It was all of a sudden, I think someone like was like, "Hey, put Dutch on this," and I was
I'm
like, "All right."
pretty sure of it because I'm trying to remember the person that ever performed. But yeah, like I mean, I've done a lot of the monumental shows that I've had that really pivoted me were really because of you. Like
Oh wow.
it was a double XL show, Action Bronson.
Yes. Okay. That one. That's the one I'm thinking of. You were opened up on the Double XL showcase with Bronson and Crit.
Yep,
That was a big one.
I met Nipsey Hussle because of you.
Ah.
Yep, I met Nipsey Hussle. Actually ended up having like a pretty good relationship with him. Chilled with him a couple times before he passed. Who else? Damn.
Oh,
Shoot.
I know. You know what? No, I got a funny story we can remember. I remember with the Yin Yang twins.
Oh my God! Listen,
Yo, you were backstage. You just
Dude, till this
you were
day,
backstage.
till this day,
I'll let
I
you
tell
tell it.
people that is one of my favorite concerts ever in my life that I've ever attended. And I say it, and I don't care. People are like, "What?" They're like, "What are the best shows you've ever been to?" And I'm like, Yin Yang Twins. And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Nah, dude, you weren't there." Like, yo.
I'll tell one funny story I remember because you were backstage trying to like play in the hospitality. You were trying to get them what they needed and being like cool and being a good host. And the one dude, who's the dude with the dreads? Who was the guy, older guy with the dreads? What's his name?
So out of the group?
Yeah, the two. What's the dude?
I don't remember their names, but I know.
So the one older guy with the
Oh, with the
dreads.
dreads.
He picks up a bottle of Patron and just chugs it, chugs the whole thing, slams it down, and says, "Where's the Molly at?"
And they were like,
Dutch is like, I gotta make some calls.
I'm not saying I got it. I'm just saying I know a guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we all know a guy.
But not for nothing, I definitely like ended the night with him in somebody's van. Like, and I was like, "Well, thank you so much. Nice to meet you." Like, "No problem, baby. Appreciate it, shawty." I was like,
yeah.
But
Yin Yang twins are going hard.
Dude, there were beach balls. I remember like yesterday, like I just remember like whoever, I don't remember who was opening, but like the show was going on, it was getting packed. I was like, okay, cool. And then it was like the moment that he did that, I feel like I looked away and then it just became a flood of people. Beach balls were being thrown. That was the best. I don't care. Like that was the best show I've ever been to, because I also forgot how many hits they had.
Yeah.
Like every song was a hit. Like
Lil Jon produced era.
Exactly. Like Salt Shaker came on and I was like, I turned to Keith and I was like, I can't breathe. Like I literally can't breathe. Like this was like the fourth banger in a row. And that was one of the best experiences I've ever had. So
that was fun.
I got some monumental shows, man. Some dope.
Yeah,
shows.
you also mentioned you got on South by Southwest, A3C, and the Brooklyn Hip Hop Fest pretty early in your career. How did you make that happen?
So let's see, A3C. So South by Southwest was really because of, shout out to Reggie, Roaming Entertainment. So at that time I was working with Reggie and I was working with DJ Shasha. So it was funny. I was just telling the story the other day. My first time for South by Southwest, I booked a show. And that was like one of the, I feel like nobody was talking about South by Southwest in Boston. Like I feel like Rex and Term and Static, like they were like the only ones that were like going down there. So when I booked the show, I was like, I was late. I booked the show in Texas. Like, it's I just started and I'm booking the show in Texas. And a lot of people don't know this. Like, Leedz, like 4 hours before I was supposed to get on the plane, my show got canceled.
Ooh.
Like the show I was going for got canceled. So I'm I done told the whole world I'm going to Texas and all this stuff, and I have no show. So me and Sha, we just went down there like, yo, screw it, grab a bottle, we outside. And we literally were just like, we're just gonna experience South by. I met Sway that year. Till this day, I have a relationship with Sway because of it. I met Eric Sermon that year. I met we chilled with Static. That's actually how I met Static. Shout out to Rex. I'll always tell people, like, till this day, Rex held me down. Like I was on the bill. Well, I wasn't on the bill because of course I had no show, but we were just on some like, yo, Shaw's like, she could rap. Let us on. And there was one bill that I got on. So Troy Ave was on this bill. Like it was so long ago. Like, and I waited, like they were like, all right, you're next. So I was next for like an hour and a half. Like you're next, to the point that the whole venue got cleared out. They were literally sweeping up and they were like, all right, go ahead. And I went on and I performed in front of like the cleaning crew, like the DJ, and mind you, like at about an hour ago, there was like 400 people in this room. And then like I look in the back and Rex just so happened to be in the back because I guess Term was like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, she's nice. And through that, they watched me perform, was like, you got to meet Static. I ended up on an audio bus. I did a freestyle on a bus with Term. I'm running around with them, Beantown Bullies, all that. And literally from there, it was just word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth. Even the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival happened because at one point I almost signed with Amalgam Digital. Through the dude Next, and I was working with the artist Chewy, and he got invited to the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, and I was like, I'm going. And I actually met Keith out there too, and then like I ended up performing, and they cut my mic off, and lo and behold, you know me, I'm gonna keep rapping a cappella, and I murdered it because of that. Like, it wasn't planned, but people, it came off like it was planned. So that actually helped me to book like every single major show after that, like that 2-3 years of time. Because everything that I had, Leedz, those are my first things ever. Like,
I know,
ever. Like,
it's impressive.
How to rap, like performing songs, because I literally had no way for you to hear my music, so you had to watch me perform for you to hear me rap.
Right. I just switched mics. Can you hear me all right?
I can. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, your live show was, I mean, you were doing shows all the time, and your energy on stage was crazy. How did you approach your live performance? Because you really had good charisma up there.
Man, I just
what was your mindset on performing live? Because you were really good.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. I mean, I was a dancer. Like, I used to dance like hip hop and step and like Haitian music and stuff at the fundraisers that we did. So as far as being on stage, I was never worried about that. Public speaker, things like that, I was never worried about any of that. But for me, it was just about like having fun. Like, I took those same elements, I think, from dancing. Like, for example, nobody knows you messed up until you show you messed up. You got to be in it. Just find ways to kind of play with it. I know that I would get carried away sometimes. I'm having so much fun up there that I'll like forget like a switch or something that I practice and things like that. So I try to keep it just really organic, but like, you know, doing shows where I was doing them, I was doing colleges and, you know what I mean? Things like that. Right. So I was coming from like, I was doing Rhode Island College. Like, I did almost every single school in Rhode Island. Like, and that was around that same time. So that, I think I was doing shows in Rhode Island before I even did Middle East. But doing like small presentation shows that are like 20 people, and then sometimes doing like a gym for like a whole 45 minutes to an hour set. Colleges are booking you for 45 minutes to an hour. So even that, I had to learn how to like do a show as opposed to just go up there and do your songs. You know what I mean? So learning to talk in between, learning how to segue things and stuff like that. I had kind of no choice. So I think I was, I'm not going to say lucky, but like, I had to do all the hard stuff first. You know what I mean? Like, I had to do the album mode first. I had to do the 45 minutes to an hour set when you don't have that much music, like, to start. So I feel like I went through like a real boot camp. And also the added, not pressure, but like a lot of the OGs and a lot of the solidified artists were rocking with me from the beginning. Yeah. Like putting me like, you're nice, like telling people like, yo, you're nice. It's like Rex and Terminology are coming off a tour and they're like, yo, Dutch is nice. And it's like, great. Like little do they know, this is my first anything. So I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Until this day, I think people still think I was rapping since I was like, you know, I knew how to rap, but I wasn't listening to albums. I wasn't like recording anything until college, like the end of, like right before you met me is the first time I ever even, like, Real P taught me how to record.
Yeah.
Like,
shout out Real P.
Yeah, shout out to Real P. Like, so
happy birthday.
Yeah, we're about to go to New Orleans on Wednesday.
Oh, look at you. Killer Boombox quoted you saying, if Ghostface and Lauryn Hill had a baby, it would be Dutch. The best. I see you got the Lauryn Hill hat on too. So
right, that's crazy. And it's funny because this is actually Avenue's hat. This is is actually Av and Frank the Butcher. I have the you know, gotta have a limited run. But and it's funny because this is actually what I wore for one of my big release parties at Middle East downstairs. And this is when I got this jersey. So I was like, I gotta actually put this on.
Nice.
But yeah, no, Killer Boombox actually also huge in my upbringing. G Valentino was writing about me very, very early.
Yeah.
And I think that really opened the door for a lot of the press that I was getting, for sure.
Right. Lauryn Hill is that one of your big influences?
Absolutely. She is. I try to tell people though, I try to keep it honest though, because I feel like a lot of people are like, you're a female artist, you have to love Lauryn Hill.
So I was
Um,
going to ask you that.
yeah, like I don't think that's fair because there's a lot of female artists that were around. So I don't think that's fair. I did love me some Lauryn Hill, especially like my friends loved Lauryn. You know, the Miseducation album is huge. I will always give my flowers to Lauryn because it was the Cowboys record on the Score album, Lauryn and Rod Digger, that made me love and try to rap. So it wasn't really just Lauryn. It was actually a little bit more Rod Digger. But the fact that they both did that to me was crazy. And Lauryn had a very calm, like chill demeanor about her, even though she would say some things that were like really cutthroat. So I love that about her. But anybody who knows my personality knows I'm a little bit rowdier than that. So people like Rod Digger, people like Shauna, people like Bahamadia, even though she had the smooth voice, like she was spitting, people like Miss Jade, obviously like MC Light, like, you know what I mean? I would say that they're a little bit more of an influence to me, but Lauryn took it to another level. She just took everything to another level as far as creativity and putting I feel like the skits on the album were really what made it so impactful to my generation, like to the people in my age, like those conversations that happen on those albums. So Lauryn forever, yeah. But also my last name Rebelle, as far as like my artist name, a lot of people don't know, that's homage to her actually. When she did her Unplugged album, she has a song called I Find It Hard to Say, parentheses Rebelle. And I always say that song is literally like the thing that shifted my life at that time to make me say, I'm going to try music. And if you've never heard it, please check it out because it's just the simple words are literally why I think any creative does what they do. Like, I find it hard to say everything will be all right. Don't look at me that way and think that everything's all right. Like, you know, I find it hard to say that people are just out here smiling around and just like, you know what I mean? So that's where the rebel comes from. Like, but the Belle, because I am Haitian, Belle, you know, all that, the French. But like, I feel like revolution, revolt, words like that, people who say like, yes, I had Grammys, but I'm going to turn and do this. That was so like frowned upon. And I just wanted to make sure that I always let people know, expect these things from me. You can get that out the way. Like, just expect all of that from me because I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. So don't, you know what I mean? Like, we got to get that out the way early.
Yeah. You know, so one other thing is, you've been quoted saying you're often the only woman in the room in hip hop spaces and have to create your own space. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. You know, peer pressure and influence. I think that there's a lot of like, for example, I think the hypersexuality in music right now is because that's how guys told women to separate themselves, as opposed to women finding their own way to separate themselves. Like, you got to be sexy at night. You got to be this. You got to be the perfect woman, which is not a problem. But like, if the guys are the ones who are, you know, running the play, then we understand what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So for me, like, finding my own space means I've had women artists that I've had to, like, you know, people call me in to like mentor, for example. And I'm telling the group of guys, like, well, how about you just let her do her thing for the first year before you start telling her what to do? You know, we have to create our own space. It's not the same thing. Like, if I want to dress up, like, you know, I was wearing heels and all cute up yesterday, but just because I want to wear my fitted and my hat today doesn't mean that I'm like this type of artist or that type of artist. When you're in the studio, what you want to talk about may not be the same context as everybody else in the studio. I grew up, you know, I'm recording with a whole bunch of dudes. So if I want to get like real soft and sentimental and like, you know what I mean, tap into my feelings and tap into like vulnerability and stuff, some women would shy away from that because it's just not the aura of the room. But when you create your own space, you're like, I don't care what's going on. Like, I'm about to sing this song or I'm about to write these lyrics right now and they're about to be real emotional, and you could shift the room. You could be the one to shift the environment. And I had to do that. You know what I mean? Like, growing up with, like, you know, a whole bunch of dudes, they want to play video games, they want to go and, you know, go play basketball, and I'm just sitting there like, I want to record so bad, but I don't know how. So how do you like make your space in that way to lead, but also not be the bitch, to not be the, you know what I mean? And that
you could
happens.
swear on this.
Oh yeah, sure. So I went for it, you know. But yeah, but it's like all those stigmas and stuff like that. You can either be a victim to them or you can create your own space, which I feel is though what I try to do. Like I don't care what.
Yeah, because you always seem very comfortable in a male dominated art form. You
Yeah,
know,
thankfully.
hip hop is male dominated. You know, I
Also,
don't have the exact stats, but from my eyes, what I've seen,
very much,
male
very much.
dominated. And
It's a
you
male
just it
dominant.
doesn't seem like it phases you at all, or maybe it does. I don't know.
I tell people like in the beginning, I might not have realized how it affected me because there are times that I think that I was trying to go so much into album mode and make the perfect records that I didn't have as much fun as I could have had with just making songs and being like, that one wasn't that great, but whatever, I did it.
Right.
But as far as like being in the male dominated industry, I would credit that to the fact that I was raised by so many uncles.
Right.
Like I raised by a lot of uncles, a lot of boy cousins in my family. So the women are
Yeah.
supposed to be we're traditional Haitian women. So you have to, shouldn't wear pants really like that. You know what I mean? Skirts, like make sure, you have to serve people, you have to clean, cook, all that stuff. But to me, that wasn't ever negotiable. Like that was just like, I thought all the girls were doing that. So as far as what I'm into, I didn't really see an issue. Like, you know what I mean? But I do see that like as I got older, like there's certain women who even how they treat me because I rap, like they treat me like if, for example, the day that they see me in a dress, they're like, oh my God, you wear dresses? And I'm like, what do you mean, bro? Like they're clothes, like, oh, because I rap and like I'm with
Yeah.
guys and oh, okay. So you don't know that those two things can exist at the same time. So
Right.
my comfortability comes from just trying to show girls that because yeah, I did have that, I don't want to say luxury, but I did have that added benefit of I was already raised by a bunch of guys. So I already kind of knew how to play that game. Like my boy cousins
Yeah.
are gonna bag the girls. They're sending me. I gotta do the liaison thing. I know how to room
Yeah.
with between the worlds. But as far as like being comfortable with just saying like, no, I don't want to do that. My mom, you can't tell her what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, but having confidence that what I'm contributing is helpful. It's different. Like, I always say, like, do you want to sit in a room full of guys and be talking about the same thing? Or most guys that I know, they want a little feminine touch around. They want a little bit of different perspective. My guys aren't yes men. Like, they don't want to just be like, everyone's like, yeah, it's fine. They want a little opposition. They want a little pushback. So I've always been around men who valued those things. So, again, my comfortability just comes from, I deal with real dudes who are like, people like Marquise, like I used to be like, oh, I can't go to this show because I have nobody to go with me and it's kind of far. And he's like, so? And I'm like, wait, no, I'm a Haitian girl. I can't go by myself. And he's like, so? Like, and until you have conversations with people like that, you don't even realize why you do the things you do. They're just like traditional upbringing. Like my mom would be like, my dad would be like, you can't go to New York by yourself. Like, why would you do that? And go in. And he's like, bro, just go, like, just go for it. And nobody's going to tell you what you can and can't do for yourself. And those type of things help me. People like Real P, people like Keys, what I mean? Like, they've definitely been very helpful like, they call me bro. They're like, I don't give a damn about, like, Real people be like, bro, you're in a dress? Are you wearing a dress, bro? Like, so they keep it fun. They keep it light. They keep it playful. So
I try not to put female MCs in a box of like a female MC category. I just like you're either dope whether you're male or female. Like, and that's what I always said about you. I was like, Dutch can spit with the best of them, male or female, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And that's really how I kind of approach it. Because I remember like when I was at the Middle East, we put together this all girl punk band show.
yeah.
And one of the bands was like, you know what? I'm sick of playing these all girls shows. I want to put me on with another punk band. You know what I mean? Just put me on and bill. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So that's kind of how I switched my mentality of thinking of like, it's not in a box. You just
shout out to her for whoever that was. Cause it's
Jen
exactly.
Mellis worked at the Middle East.
Because sometimes even that, like some girls aren't even comfortable to say that because they of fear that they're gonna be like, oh, so now the other women are offended because they feel like, and it's like, no, I mean, at the end of the day, like there's no all male lineup. They don't say that. So you don't say all male lineup. So don't say all female lineup. If it just so like anyone see that it's all girls, you don't have to use it as a marketing point. If it's all women, it just so happens to be all women. It's just a show.
Right.
There's just no guys on the bill. Same thing like where there's no girls on the bill all the time. You know what I mean? Right. So and in fairness, I do feel like, it does take away from the show, and some people can disagree, but it's like, unless it's a ladies' night event that's like for the women in the room, is it's like everybody's a woman, then why, what are we celebrating exactly? Like, we have vaginas? Like, yeah, we got those. Like, and I've always said that, like, what's the qualification? So that means you don't even have to really good, you just have to be a girl. Like, that's not a cohesive show. And I'm sure you know, someone who books shows, like, it's about having a cohesive show. And
I found that anytime I did like an all-female event, they didn't do as well as if it was a regular hip-hop event. Like, I felt like that branding wasn't beneficial to the show.
It's not. It's
put it in a box where it was like,
because it makes guys feel like, oh, it's a whole bunch. It's like a girl thing.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
Yeah. Right. And then there's like girls who are like not very like, I'm a whole bunch of girls type thing. They don't want to do that. And then sometimes it just feels like a donation, if that makes sense. I know that might be the best word, but it does kind of feel like it's like Black History Month. It's like the month. So it's like, okay, so this is the one show. Hey, we support women. We did a women's show. We did it. It's like, all right, bro. Like, and you know, I just got put into a female cipher, and like, I you know, shout out to them. But I was like,
put you with
that
dudes.
look like word. And then I just watched the whole room look at them like, why did you put Dutch in a female cipher? And I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna argue, but I have my questions, but I'll let you guys debate.
Yeah, I will go back to performance real quick. I want to say you've performed in some very interesting places. You've performed at the Museum of Science, the Planetarium.
Yeah, Museum of
Isabel Gardner. Isabel Gardner, and what we're also going to talk about is just you showed up at someone's house and started rapping at the pandemic.
Yes, a couple people's house.
Yeah, so we'll go. I want to start with the Museum of Science.
Yeah.
You rapped in the Planetarium. Like, what was that performance? I have to know. What would you like? The stars are coming out and like Saturn and everything, and you were like doing your verse.
It's the first time, and then so we did it twice. So the first time, basically, I would sync up I worked with the guys to do visuals, and we would sync up what we wanted on the screen for the record. So we had DJ Real P in the middle, and so he DJ'd for certain things. And, you know, I did like outfit changes and had guests come. I had like Trend in Motion come and dance like around the circle. So it was very immersive in that way, because if you've ever been in that room, like, people are just walking around. Mind you, that was my first time ever in there.
Really?
Yes, I never, because as I tell people,
no field trips to Museum of Science.
Just like I was gonna say, I was like, I went to school in Milton. They were like, yeah, right, we're not taking you all the way over there.
Really?
Like,
wow.
Yeah, so I feel like that was like a Boston public school trip. But no,
New Hampshire was going too. All Massachusetts was showing up.
They hated on us. They were like, yeah, nah. They took us to Blue Hills Observatory to go look at the damn stars. But as far as the Museum of Science, I had never been. But a shout out to James too, because he was amazing. The team over there is really fire, actually. Like, they do, I didn't even know, they do like burlesque shows in there. They do drag shows in there.
Really?
Like, yes, I had no idea. Like,
wow.
Actually had to attend one to kind of get an idea of what I could do. And it was fire. Like, it was fire, bro. It was a drag show, and it was insane because she had it was dope. Like, it was like a shrunken thing. So the idea was like, we were all shrunken. So so as far as like how they shot the footage that went up there, it was like, she's huge and she's just looking down like, excuse me, what are you guys doing down there? So like, it was very interactive in that way, but there's a lot of creative things you could do in there. But yeah, we did it was a whole concert. It was just that I got to sit with the visuals and choose every single transition and every single display that would be on there. And then we did another event that was during the pandemic, when I called it like When Powers Combine. So my concept was a play on Captain Planet. And I chose an artist from every city to represent each element. So fire, earth, wind, water, heart. And then we did an event. And so what we did there was we had them perform in front of like a green screen, and what would have been on the in the planetarium, had people attend the planetarium while it was quarantine, they had it displayed like behind them. So kind of like my background right now. So, but it was a lot of like you know, all that stars and stuff, and it's still online and you can still watch the whole thing. And I was dressed up. I had a high top. I looked like Captain Planet. You know, I had like a whole bathing suit on and stuff. It was dope. But yeah, I've been able to do a lot of crazy things in the city. But yeah, like the Wang Theater.
We're gonna go to the rapping at someone's house. I heard the story the other day. When we were at the Still Gold Festival. One of your
Special delivery. That was the special delivery program.
Explain that story about the person that
my pizza girl, my pizza lady.
Your pizza. Talk about the pizza girl.
So what we did because of quarantine, I wanted to still perform and still do stuff with people and just kind of.
You needed money.
Yeah, no, it was free. It was free. I didn't do anything for money. No,
okay. I'm just kidding.
Not at all.
Sorry. I don't assume things.
Would have been nice, but no.
The hustler in Dutch. I just figured, you know.
Yeah, no. Well, put it like this.
This was going for a bag. You know what I mean?
Promotion, advertising, networking. That's all in there. You know. That's always gonna be in there. But we got to actually it was dope because all I spent was like gas money. I didn't do anything, you know what I mean? Because people donated the things that I gave away. So I wanted to call it special delivery, right? Just like the G-Dep joint, special delivery. So it was pretty much, I called up all my homies and was just like, give me stuff to bring to people. So I had like over like 10, 12 people give me like gift cards, t-shirts, swag bag items, cups, masks, homemade masks, like all that type of stuff. So, and it was pretty much just, I'll spend some time with you. So I can either just drop it off, or if you want me to wrap something, if you want to ask me questions, you want to take pictures, whatever for the moment in that time is what I would do. And that's how I advertised it. So one of the ladies, it's two people that stood out the most. The first lady, my pizza girl, I think she was kind of far out, but like, you know, I put the gift down, I put it down, and then I walked to the sidewalk so that she could come out. And she's like, thank you so much. And it was just like, you know, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, you want some pizza? And I'm like, it's not safe, but yes, I want. And I love pizza. Anybody who doesn't know that, that's me and pizza. That's my thing. So it doesn't matter what kind it is. It doesn't matter if it's hot, cold. I'll eat it.
Let me stop you right there. Best pizza in Boston, then. What's your favorite?
Oh, tricky. Best pizza in Boston? Damn, that's
your
hard.
Your favorite.
My go-tos, I mean, I grew up going to Stashes, but in Mattapan, but Brookline Spa's up there. Damn. Charlie's is up there in Dorchester. I mean, Pizzeria Regina. That's I mean, I don't know if that counts because it's like our staple,
more
but
corporate. You like the thick crust with it? You like that thick crust?
But I mean, again, I like all of it because I grew up like Uno. Like I like pizza for all of the different types. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's like for the traditional greasy slice, you go here. Like for the hood pizza, you go there. Like I still like Uno's deep dish. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was about to say that's the thick stuff. That's
the deep dish
biscuit crust.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the pizza pie, like all that. But I mean, I grew up in Mattapan, so like we're getting pizza right on the Ave. Like, you know what I mean? What's open.
Sun Pizza. You like Sun Pizza up there?
I used to. Yeah, that's a little bit farther up for me, but like
too far
over there, like hell yeah. Because you know, Mattapan kids, we don't like going far. Like when you go to Dorchester.
You go to Stashes though. Stashes is far.
Stashes is fire. Stashes is fire. I believe they're under Windy, is it Windy City Pizza? There's a new pizza spot that took over that location of Stashes. Bomb. Go check that out. Absolutely fire. I think it's Rock City Pizza. There you go. Rock City. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The pizza thing I wanted to know.
I'm a Gemini,
Let's go. Yeah. So you split personality. Is that what that means? Like
a couple of us.
Yeah, that makes sense based on your diverse hustle.
You damn right.
You all performed at these people's houses. What are some other crazy places you've performed?
So I've been to Africa. I performed in Africa. I definitely
What country?
Crazy, actually. So
what country in Africa?
Congo.
Oh wow.
Congo, in the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. Come to find out, there's two Congos. I know that. So so we performed in what they call the DRC, so the Democratic Republic of Congo. But I performed at the Independence Day Festival out there. It was crazy. I had billboards all over the city. Like my face was on billboards all over. We flew into Rwanda, drove into Congo. It was crazy. Rwanda's actually lit though. It was wild. Like I'm like mad nervous. Like, okay, what do I expect? What do I
Yeah, I
expect?
mean, Rwanda had its experienced a lot of issues over the
I went
years.
to a fire Japanese food spot in Rwanda. It was bomb. They opened up like after they closed for us, for like the group that was performing. And you know, the guy, you know, he had my name and stuff like that. So like the driver. And we got in the car, and the first thing we heard was like Meek Mill, I'm a Boss. That's the first song that I heard in Africa. And we were just driving through the city. It looked like Toronto. Like it's fire over there actually. But it took, so we stayed in Rwanda that night, and then we drove into Congo the next day. It took like 3 hours, and we were there for like a week, and the festival was like 2-3 days, but that was absolutely crazy. Like we stayed in Kinshasa, and a villa called Lac Kivu, which is where the volcano is. There was like literally a volcano like right there. The birds over there were crazy. The food, absolutely amazing. The seafood, absolutely amazing. Like the people, fire. Like, and it was funny because, you know, I'm over there, like, I don't know what to expect. And I'm like, dude, the women over there wearing like Louboutins and Prada, Gucci, everything. And it's dirt as hell in a dirt road. And they're just like, yes, when we come to America, you should be our host. I'm like, when you come to America, you can host me. Because what the heck are you mean? Like, but, you know, really dope. I made some great connections over there.
How did you get that gig?
So thankfully, high school friends. I'll just say the long story short is high school friends. I was cool with my girlfriend, Heather Kiernan, love her to death. Come to find, so she hit me up one day basically on Facebook and was like, would you ever perform in Africa? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, am I paying for it? And she's like, no, hell no. Like, would you come? She almost felt like I wouldn't come. Like, she's like, I don't know if that's like beneath, like, you know, if you would do something like that. And I'm like, girl, I would love to. So the long story short is, I guess she had visited her sister who was working for the UN and doing nursing and things like that. She went to go visit her sister and she never left. She said she's like 3 years later, she just never left. She loved it, got a job out there, stayed out there. And she ended up dating this guy, and he was like, I have an idea for a show. So they collectively put together this Independence Day festival for the community that happened like out of college. And they realized I was the only person from America on the bill. So, you know, flew me out, took care of everything, paid me. They really literally smuggled me into the country. Like none of my paperwork was like, I still don't even know how they managed to do that. But they got me in, and it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I want to go back so bad, but it was fire. But, and another place that I performed at, that was wild, was Indiana. Indiana's yeah. Like, yeah, like we like flew, it was wild. Like we flew in and drove back.
Yeah, it's not that far.
It was dope. It was dope. It was a college out there that I was performing at, and we stayed in this like hotel that was like attached to the airport, and the airplane was like the size of like a bus. And it was dope. It was like a whole Harley Davidson like monument and all this other stuff or whatever, but it was really cool. Like I like the little weird random out of nowhere spots that like you just fall into a bar and spend like $30 and buy out the bar, and you know what I mean, like, so and
$30 to buy out the bar.
Jeez. You should have seen us in Africa. What? Yeah. Dude, $60. We was balling. We was in the club popping bottles, pizza, had a whole section for $60. Amazing. $60.
They go for about like 1,000, 1,500 in Naga.
$1,000. I could have built a mansion and never left.
Bijou, like, $2,000 at Bijou.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the difference is over there, just like in Haiti, like if you buy a bottle, you can leave with the bottle because it's yours.
Oh wow.
They're like,
so you don't own the bottle in the United States.
They're like, oh, you know, because we're over here trying to finish it up. Like, oh my God. And he's like, just take it with you. And I'm like, what? They're like, just
baby
take it.
Sips. No baby sips.
Like, why would I? And they're like, but you bought it. And I'm like, wow, that's a concept.
Yeah. I want to talk about your other hustle, which is modeling.
Quietly, I mean, I guess I model.
Well, I mean, you post a lot of modeling photos, so I'm guessing you're a model. No.
Funny thing is, I'm trying to get into that a little bit. So I just do a lot of I'll do photo shoots and stuff like that to kind of help with the content and kind of keep things flowing and keep kind of direct traffic. If that makes sense. Like if I want to put out certain songs, then you got to do certain visuals to kind of get people to know. Because of course, like, you know, when I came on the scene, I was like, a whole tomboy, like, you know what I mean? So now I'm a little older, so I have to kind of, you know,
I feel
lead.
like you always had like fashion consultants around and stuff. Like you
Yeah,
always had
and
like,
that's yeah, and that's kind of what it is. Like I've always been about showing off people's work. So I do have a lot of friends, like with my Black Roses squad and stuff, that are stylists and they're makeup
yeah,
artists and hairstylists and all of that. So I've kind of always been their like model, their model, you know what I mean?
right.
But I've never actually done like an actual fashion show.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. But I actually have been trying to. So I've been in the gym, and you know, I started boxing and doing stuff like that. So I did get a little slimmer, and I've been, as of recent, trying to do some headshots because yes, I have been getting cussed out because people don't understand why I'm not modeling, like for a check. So I've done gigs, but it's never been with the intention of modeling. Like for example, I ended up on the cover of Dig Boston with the whole MCM spread and actually I think it was Boston Herald, I'm sorry, but like a whole MCM spread, but it was literally just because I had a friend who was like, you should come and model for me because she was working at MCM. We did the shoot, and then maybe a month later someone asked me for like an article, and then I ended up on the cover, and it was like I wasn't the main person in the article, but I think because of the photo it worked out. So with just little things like that have definitely been pushing me towards doing that. So I appreciate that. If you ever need me to model something, you know what I'm saying? That'd be nice.
We have Leeds Entertainment hasn't really gone in that direction yet, but you'll be the first one I call.
Yeah, we'll get a little t-shirt,
You
little
have
hat.
some good I just thought about it. You got some good friends because you've got friends that have hooked you up in some really good situations. Africa, cover shoots. I mean, you have a good network.
I do. I
Salute
have
to that.
amazing. I have a lot of family, friend family. I have a lot of family.
Well, I think it speaks to you and your personality and how you treat people and your respect you give back too.
It's very humbling. I was just talking with Oompa actually about this a couple days ago, and you know, I have that gift and the curse of being so grateful for the people in my life that sometimes I don't like. I'm not as cocky as I guess I should be, because people are like, dude, like you should be like popping your shit like all the time, and I'm just like, I'm so grateful for the shit I pop. Like it's nice, like you know what I mean, like but yeah, so it's dope when I hear stuff like that because I do kind of get in my head sometimes and don't realize that like yeah, maybe I have something to do with that, but I just feel as though I'm
You
super
do.
blessed. Like I'm very blessed to have the people that I have around me. Like I'm very blessed that like I'm not like as fried as I may think I am sometimes. And some people think I'm being, you know, I mean, makes some sense sometimes. So I love that. I love that. And I love that a lot of the people I've been with have always been here. And yeah, I don't switch up my squad too much. Like it's a lot of the same people who've been around. And if they're like not around, it's never like beef or anything like that. It's always like just respect from afar. So I do feel very blessed in that way. But again, I don't know. I don't know, that's the humility in me, I guess. I don't know, but or maybe the naivety, I should say, because
Humility is important. In the music industry kind of frowns on it because we're taught we
yeah,
have to be this super egotistical maniac to be
right.
successful. It's not always the case
Oh,
because
and there
the
goes
reality. Oh,
my cat, who
the
apparently
cat.
wanted to join.
Oh, shout out the cat. What's the cat's name?
Leonidas.
Leonidas. Shout out Leonidas.
That's the
But
king from 300. That's the Spartan king from 300.
oh, I
So
didn't know that. Oh,
King
no.
Leonidas.
The other thing I
Yeah.
want to go back to the modeling. You recently you recently posted a very provocative photo. I would say provocative. Some people might say it's
It
provocative. I'm
was
not gonna say
risque.
was that actually see-through? Was that a see-through front or was that the design?
So the fun fact,
Because I couldn't tell because you posted two things saying it was see-through or wasn't. So tell me what it was.
so the thing is, the shirt does have that on it. The shirt actually has a body on it, like a Greek bodice. So it is a breast and abs and
Okay.
all. So it is. However, the shirt was also see-through. So
Well, you really played that double standard.
yeah. So basically, what you see as far as what you're able to, because we played with some blurring. So what you see is the shirt, essentially. But the fullness of the shirt is because it's see-through. So so yeah, so we blurred it out a little bit. But I feel like I should have posted the outfit by like itself so people could see like what it
Well, you
actually
threw yourself out there. I was like, she's really throwing herself out there.
yeah, you know, it's a little, but the funny thing is, like for me, I didn't think it would. that's the thing, right? You see stuff like that on other people and you're like, oh, that's so cute. And I've seen it on other people and it doesn't look like that on other people that it did on me. I saw it and I was like, oh. But so
You
I
like
don't
that?
know. But I was like, but I honestly, I only posted it really because I wanted to see. Well, also, again, it was a stylist. Shout out to Busy, my girl Busy. Like, she did my hair, she did the look, she did everything. Yeah, you know what I mean? So for me, like, I'm representing for somebody else, I have no problem. And I've always said that. Like, I think people think I'm like, I'll never show skin and I don't believe in like for no reason skin. Like, girls are like in their rooms, like butt naked, like posing on like a dresser. It's like, I don't
That's
know.
the thing is because I've always heard you like call people out for that with their
Yeah, it's weird.
their duck face filters and stuff.
Yeah, it's really weird because it's like, you could be like, if you're in a club and you're half naked, all right. If you're at the beach and you're half naked, fine. Like, if you're, you know, that's fine. But it's just like, I don't think that even some women understand that to guys, that's weird.
Right.
It's like, I know you're trying to be sexy, but it's like, bitch, get out the fucking closet. Why are you sitting on the carpet? Like, so I don't like shit like that. I don't like things that are performative, too performative. You know what I mean? So for me, like that outfit, it was a photo shoot. So it's as simple as that. It's a photo shoot. And if it looks nice and everything looks nice, then to me, that's art. And that's me representing the photographer, the makeup artist, and the garment and doing my best to, you know, fulfill the garment. But again, not gonna lie though, didn't know that it was gonna look like that on me because the way it looked on other people, it looked PG-13. Like, you know what I mean? But now I was looking at it and I was like, ooh. But you know, again, I'm a little older now, so I don't mind to have like a little fun with it. I'm definitely not, you know, I was like, I'm not saying I would never like show my body, but it's like it has to be tasteful no matter what. Like, why would I don't see a reason to just like go online and be like, look, like I don't see the reason for that. But you know, I think that I have to kind of meet people halfway with that. Like, I remember someone said about me once, not to me, but they said, you know, I would love to work with Dutch in the industry, but you know, she would never take like her clothes off. Like, she would never show skin. And I always thought, like, even though that's still a bonehead ass like assessment, but I don't want people to think just because that I like don't think I'm feminine or don't think that women who do that aren't like as sexy as they are. Like that, I feel like, okay, hold on now. Hold on now. I like my tomboy clothes, but I do have a responsibility to not make girls think that you can't do that. Like, just because I got bars and I can rap with the dudes, if I'm wearing heels, I'm wearing heels. If I'm wearing, and as you know, a lot of my shows when I started, I kept it real. Like, I tried to put my heels on. In the very, very beginning, I was just me. But after a while, when traction started, it was like, no, I don't want people thinking like this is the I can rap kit, a hat, you know, boys' clothes. That means I can rap. It's
rap.
Like, that's worse than trying to be ultra. That's worse. Like, because it's like, I'm just cozy, bro. I'm comfortable and I'm cozy. That's all.
Comfortable.
I mean, if I want to, like Foxy Brown, back to what we were saying about some influences. Like, I will forever remember Foxy Brown coming out in that damn purple dress, rapping how she was rapping with Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like, because before that, women in rap, you could do raunchy, but she came out like, this is an upscale event and there's champagne and there's Cristal and there's all these things and I'm in a purple gown with my heels on and I might shoot you. To me, those two things can exist at the same time. I didn't understand that before. So I do feel like I do have a little bit more responsibility to show, like, you can be feminine, you can be sexy, but if you're cheap, you're cheap, bro. There's nothing.
Well, I think you're just being you. You know what I mean? I think that's important. Like, you're just being you. You're not really trying to do, you know, we all dress it up a little bit, but you know, if you're being the core of you, you know.
Right. And
what's the problem?
To that too, exactly. Because it's like, and that's better said because, right, I'm Haitian and Dominican. So even when people used to think that, I'm like, have you ever been to the islands? Like, we don't put this emphasis on skin. And I think that's what kind of deterred me from doing it. It's like, it's just so, it's not a big deal. Like, you go to other countries, it's not a big deal. Like, little kids wear two pieces and shit. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? But here it is. So I think I had to make sure that I navigated properly. But now that I just don't care anymore, I'm just like, yo, you're going to get what I feel like doing for the moment. Like, very much.
I like that. We're talking about another thing that we talked about one time. You were getting voiceover work.
Yeah. Why
what
my
was
voice
the
is hoarse now too.
go you screaming in the mic again?
Yeah.
It was describe what you're doing because it was like you were impersonating other rappers, or it was something you would talk about
No,
what you're
so
doing.
I actually do vocals for dance companies and cheer
Ah,
companies. And I also have started doing like commercial work and commercial syncs for like TVs and stuff. So I've had a couple placements out on like shows as far as like the music that's going on between the scenes and things like that. But the majority of it is dance vocals. So very quickly, if a cheerleading competition puts up their mix and there's like Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes in it and they put it on YouTube, it's going to get muted.
right.
So once that started happening with copyright, there started getting production companies that are offering custom work for teams. So now like a team can hit up one of our clients, which is like cheer vocals or cheer cuts. And they might be the company that all the schools just hire them to make mixes. So those production companies have to have vocalists, of course, because they need to actually say the custom word. So I get paid to, let's say, the cosmic whatever's from Cambridge. And the order would be like, I need four 8 counts. Our colors are red and black. We're undefeated, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's it. It'll be something like that. So I'll have to just kind of just write it out and record it, send it back. I don't mix it or anything like that. Just send them the vocals, and that goes into becoming a big mix. So I've been doing that for at least 6 years, 7 years now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's literally a part-time job. Like, I mean, I can clear on a good day. On a good day, I'm making at least 100, $200 to just sit there and just blah,
That's
blah, blah.
amazing.
You know what I mean? On a great day, I've definitely made like 800-900 in a day. And I have things almost every day, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like for the week, like, on a good week.
That's great.
And so like, it's fire because it's another way for people to know your voice. Like, granted, some of these kids, like, because we have people that are like in different countries that are like D1, adults and stuff like that. But then there's some that are like, this group is the Little Angels and they're minis and they're all 5 years old. So please, no haters, no, I'll knock you out. No, like, it'll be like, strength and light, we came to fight, blah, blah. Like, so I do actually lose my voice a lot. And sometimes, yeah, like people can't find me because I actually have like blown out my damn voice and I can't talk. So yeah, it happens sometimes.
Yeah,
like if I have a busy week of, because again, I'm a hustler, so it's like I'm not gonna let the money sit. If I know I could do something with it, I might just be something that would take another team maybe like 2 weeks to do. I might say, like, which is what I'm doing. I'm about to go to New Orleans, so I'm like, tell them flood me out because I'm leaving Wednesday. So anything that I would have done Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'll just do it before I leave. But that's just play money, you know what I mean? So
how would someone get in? How do people get into that? Because that's always the people that like want to get into sync money. They all want that money. How do you get someone get into that?
There are like websites and stuff. Like there's something called Songfinch. I don't know if people know about that. That's something that people could do, kind of like a Fiverr, like freelance. You can do yourself and just get people to book you in that way. But I got a rapper actually pulled me in, American Antagonist. Shout out to Tag.
Oh, Tag, loose notes.
Tag. So Tag actually pulled me in.
You're pulling some names out tonight I hadn't heard in a while, man.
Yeah, so Tag, shout out to Fish Skill.
Oh, jeez.
Tag crazy, right? So Tag was mixing for the guy who gave me my first vocal order. He was doing mixes for the guy. So I met Tag through some people, and Tag was like, you should come with me to meet this dude. I think you'll be good for it. We went, did it. So at the time, I would always go to Bill, like the dude was in Bill Ricker. So I would have to go to Bill Ricker to do the orders. Yeah, it is. So it would be like, I might do like 6 orders or 10 orders, and that's it. But once I learned how to record myself, shout out to Berkeley Online, I was gifted because of the Kickstarter that I did a successful Kickstarter. And because of that, I got gifted any class online at Berkeley. So I took Pro Tools 101 and I learned how to record myself finally. And because of that, that's why the vocal game went to overdrive, because now I don't even have to leave my house. You can send it to me now. I'll send it right back to you. And I get paid like instantly. PayPal just gets sent right over. So
Like that.
that expedited it also, which is why I have so many vocals, because where other people would be like, they just do a few a week or something like that. I'm like, bro, give them all to me.
Hustler.
All.
You hustle in the vocals.
I need them all. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's fun. It's fun because it's not something I would ever do. It's only not fun when it's like you do have a deadline and it's 7 a.m. and you have to be very energetic. Because if you're tired, they'll be like, bro, what was that? Like, you know what I mean? If it's a vocal mix, it's a dance cheer mix, so you can't half-ass it. You have to be.
So what do you
just
like chugging coffee at 6 a.m.? What are we doing?
I do tea,
Oh
because
yeah,
the
the
coffee, and
boys.
then you got to get up and go and all that other stuff. So I try to do the tea thing, but I also just try to do it like first thing in the morning, drink water, wait. And I also learn to take breaks too. Like, so where I might have like 48 8 counts that I got to send in for one client, I might do like the first 24 and then go run outside real quick, come back, and then like do the rest and then send them out. Cause I have to like label them and zip them and all that other stuff. And it's not crazy, but it's like, it's really not hard work, but it is tedious. If you're not a recording person, you probably won't like to do that. So
Nice hustle. She's
yeah.
got multiple hustles here.
I got
Which is important. I always say you gotta have a bunch of different hustles moving, stay independent. That's you have a lot
I
of
just came
power,
back from
freedom
my
that way.
hustles, doing drop-offs. The one I'm talking about. Like, so literally just came back in between while I do laundry as I talk to you. So
that's amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. So what do we got in the work? What do we got in the works coming up? What do we got planned?
So I got a couple of videos in the cut. Definitely got some songs. Definitely got some songs. I've just been waiting for the right time to feel like I want to put them out, more so because you got to keep rolling out. People expect greatness from me. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to put something out, I don't want to like put it out and then wait another month or two or whatever. So I was like, you know what? Let me get these videos loaded. The goal is, I feel like I worked so much on album mode that like I got stuck in the not having the fun part and just being like, oh, I need to fill this missing slot because it needs a this record, or it needs a this record, or I have to work with this person because I need the name on the. Scrapped it all, scrapped all that shit, scrapped it all. So now, because of all the relationships I've built, as you said, all the names that just pop up that I forget about, that I have great relationships with, I'm kind of doing I call it the EP tour. So I'm just working on cohesive EPs with all the producers I rock with. So I'm gonna do one with Hum Beats, International Show, my homie Black Metaphor. I gotta tap in with the Archetype, my boy Casanova, like, you know, a couple different people, and just like, let's lock in and just do it. My boy Bogey, because I also realized that I came out and I rolled out so kind of like cohesively that people kind of just think they know what type of artist I am. You know, coming in with so many bar heavy people and stuff like that, like they don't know that I can make a dance record. I got Crump records, I got Zouk records, I got songs in English, I got songs in Creole, like, and I'm not into the big like, all right, this is the label, so we have to roll this out and we have to cut my hair if we want to go do fun shit, and we got to go do, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, nah, dude, like, this
Cut
is the
your hair if you want to do some fun shit.
a la Rihanna, you know what I mean? You know, the Rihanna effect, like,
oh, okay, I wasn't sure.
you know, like, meant. But it's like, but think about it. How many girls? It's like, I'm gonna change my hair color now because I'm putting a new.
It's weird, like hair. Even with guys these days, it's like so and so got a new haircut. Like Drake got the new haircut. It's the biggest thing. Like,
so now you know.
Like, why is someone's hair play such a huge?
Rihanna did it. I keep saying Rihanna did it. It was Rihanna's fault. She did the bob and kicked her freaking career into hyperdrive. But right, it does happen, and not for nothing. I mean, I did say it earlier. I'm kind of already playing that game. Like, yeah, if I want to put out songs that are a little bit more mature than some of the stuff I put out before, if I want to talk about like relationships, if I want to talk about dating, if I want to talk about those type of things, then like, you know, I can't always just be, you know, fitted down and chilling like that if the songs are not like that. You know what I mean? Like, where I'm just playing and just talking, you know, rapidy rap, fine. But if I want to get a little sensual or something like that, like I sing low key. People don't know that. Like, you know what I mean? So if I want to attract that market, I have to address that market, as people tell me. For example, someone said to me, like, you know, if they didn't follow me closely, they wouldn't know that I was Caribbean from my music. And that's like, no, I can't have that. You know what I mean? Like, so, right. So there's certain things that I have to show off, which is why, for example, a song like Big Zoe would come out where I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk in Carnival. I never wanted to walk in Carnival before that. But if I'm going to do a song at Carnival, I'm going to walk in the damn Carnival. I'm going to do the headpiece and I'm going to do the whole thing. So, you know, that was kind of like the start of the you know, and my body's different now. I'm older now, so you know, we can play with things and stuff like that. So, you know, it's like, yeah, all of it is just less pressure.
Open canvas. Dutch is an open canvas.
Exactly. And it's more collaborative now, I guess, is it? Where before you have that I need to be perfect and I want to make sure things look right and I want to present myself in the best way. So sometimes you like cut yourself off at you know, cut your own feet out from underneath you because you're just thinking so much. Geminis, way too much.
That's a huge problem with artists. I hate to say that I see is the perfectionism or the insecurity that it's not good enough, and you want to make it perfect,
right?
And they hold themselves back, and stuff doesn't come out. And I'm just like, man, just throw it out there, man. Get as best as you can, and you know, we can't predict the results.
Now. And I'm there now. We call that the analysis paralysis, right? And that's it. But I'm definitely there now. I've been working with actually I-20 from DTP as well out in Atlanta. Shout out to him. He's been helping me a lot. Production and just even that, like navigating production. Because for me, I'm a fan of it. So I'm gonna rap on whatever. I can make a song on anything, but it does take an expertise or a certain ear to say, yeah, I know you can do it, but this is the one you should move on. And so I can't do that without having people more collaborative into what I'm doing. So that's even the EP tour thing that I'm calling it. Like, that's even it's still an experiment in itself. Yes, it's also like people want to hear music and they're sick of me and they're like, fuck that, just put it out. But through putting out the EPs.
That's what I would tell you. That's what I would say. If you came to me, I'd just say, fuck that.
Nobody cares. Put it out. Dutch, put it out. We want it.
Stop thinking. Stop thinking.
Yeah, even like I was told on a podcast, like they straight up called me out. They were like, "We don't care, put it out." Because I was saying to the point,
Charlie, was that Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie was like, "Yo, look, like
CWT, was it CWTV?
Yeah, CF Dub." Like, so he was like, "No, you haven't put anything out." And I was like, "Dude, we've been in a pandemic. Like, who the fuck? Like, I don't have anything to say to help these people, bro."
Well, he has no problem saying whatever's on his mind.
Yeah, damn right. And
shout out to him.
He was like, dude,
I walked in there like this, like I don't know.
Yeah. And shout out to you for doing that. You're so lit for doing that too, because I think that's the one thing with him, and I've always said that, like, and you know where to say.
I knew what I was walking into. I was like, I called him beforehand. I was like, what is this? Is this a setup? Is this a setup?
People get real nervous.
He's like, no, I'm in Hanover. I'm like, all right, you're in Hanover. I'm coming.
Yeah. Like, are you gonna jump me? Like, watch Cash. Yeah, watch Cash.
If he was like, I'm in Dorchester, I'm like,
That's hilarious. Now it's always say to people, like, you can ask me anything, because if what I choose to answer is what I choose to answer. Like, people like ask me that. It's like, you can ask me whatever the hell your heart desires, dude. Like, how I answer it is how I answer it. Like, people, like, I just had an interview. Somebody was like, have you ever been in a threesome? And I was like, have I? And they were like, what? Is that your answer? I'm like, is it? Like,
this is open to interpretation.
Yeah, like, what do you do? What's the problem? Like, you know what I mean? It's not a freaking lie detector test, dog. It's an interview. Like, you know what I mean? So try to have fun with it.
Well, I've kept this podcast fairly PG then, apparently, to these other podcasts you've been doing.
People look crazy. Yes.
So the brutally honest podcast that you've been participating in.
But as you said, you know, there's people who are not, you know, I don't want to say shock jocks, but some people like that type of thing. They
want the hot topics.
Yeah, they want to throw you off. I feel like they want to, like, you know, the topic is one thing, but I'm like, but you're the way that they don't ease you into it or anything. They just do it. It's like, because you're trying to throw someone off. Like, someone the other day, they were like, "Are you bisexual?" And no, they were like, "Are you bi?" I was like, "Bi what?" They were like bisexual.
Am I?
Oh. I was like, I don't know. Am I? Like, and they were like, what? And I'm like, what? I was like, what are we doing? Like, and they were like,
what is this, like deep truths with Dutch Rebelle? We were digging right to the core.
It makes me feel like, it's like, and I say it to people, because, you know me, I'm a jokester too. So it's like, if you ask me a question, I'm more so wondering why you ask. Because people are like, are you in a relationship? I'm like, all right, would you like to submit an application? And they're like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean?
DutchRebelle.com. Contact button tab.
Yep, 617-860-3557. Hit the fan line. I'm like, yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah, yo.
Well, Dutch, this is quite the way to end this. I think, like, you know, I'm really happy we ended it on this note, because it's pretty funny.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I got it. George Clinton, Funkadelic, Parliament.
I didn't even realize oh, snap.
Bong. You know, I went to see them last Thursday. I was like, you know, this might be my only chance to see Clinton. I never saw him. I was like, let's go. I called up my friends. Let's go. We went, and man, he shut it down, man. Like, 80 years old on stage. He's got his band. There's not many remaining members from the crew, but there's a couple. and it's all new families, daughters in there, sons in there, and they fucking rock, man.
That
It's
is
like one of those bands you got to see that's better live than on the record.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Damn, that's
like,
amazing. That's amazing. I want to see, I would love to see him. I might pass out. I want to see him. I want to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. As far as like older artists, like him, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and freaking Grace Jones' ass is still freaking performing and stuff.
Is she really?
So, bro, like I think
Oh shit.
nuts. Like, yeah. So there's definitely, and the infamous. I don't know if anybody will ever see Sade live again, but that'd be nice.
Hold on 1 second here. I just got my phone's just screwed up here. Hold on. Oh, fuck.
Because they know.
Your music is like bumping in my ear.
Oh, dope.
Wow. You there?
I am.
Oh wow. Like the phone rang and then your music, as I was listening to your music, it just started like
magical. It's magic.
Technology went against me. So all right, Dutch, I got to wrap this up, but thank you. It's always been your success and your journey has been amazing to watch, man.
I appreciate it. And when I do start with rolling out stuff, you'll be one of the first to hear everything. Promise you that.
Sweet. Well, thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast. Check out our other interviews on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify streaming. And thank you, Dutch.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Later.